Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this talk. Mon français n'est pas si bien. Euh, Désolé. Donc, je vais parler anglais, si ça c'est bien pour tout le monde. Okay, that was actually my best French. Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk a bit about a package that I made. I think I started with it like 2 years ago to handle all sorts of media in a Laravel application. I'm Freek van der Herten. I'm a partner and a developer at an Antwerp company called Posse. I have a blog, merze.be, where I talk about modern PHP development in Laravel. And I'm also building my first SaaS application, Oh Dear App, which can monitor the health of your sites. It can send you a notification when it is down or when your certificate isn't in order. Together with these two nice-looking guys, I organize the PHP Meetup group in my hometown, Antwerp. If you're ever in the vicinity of Antwerp and want to give a talk at our user group, feel free to contact me. We're looking for speakers of all levels, and the length of your talk doesn't matter at all. My company, Posse, has been around since 2003. We create websites, applications, and web shops. Our team is quite small. We have only 6 developers and 1 manager doing all the stuff that developers don't want to do. And yeah, we specialize in Laravel development. Before heading off into the media library itself, I want to say a few words about open source. In our company, we use open source a lot, Nginx, PHP, Ubuntu, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. Without open source software, our company couldn't exist. And I think that many of you thank your jobs due to the fact that open source software exists as well. So for this, we should all be grateful. And at Posse, we like to give also back to the community because we get so much from the community. So we have an open source effort at our company. We put out a lot of PHP and Laravel packages, and at our company website you can see the big list of the stuff that we've done. I'm pretty sure there's something there for your next project, so go have a look there. A little bit of a humble brag. So even though that we're a company of only 6 people, we managed to get the number 2 spot at the GitHub Awards site, which summarizes the GitHub stars that a GitHub organization have. So this, we're above Symfony, which is quite crazy for our little company. Probably Laravel, we're never going to catch them. They're like, the ruler of the list. Our packages are not entirely free. I shouldn't mention that before, maybe. There's a special license on them called Postcardware. So if you use any of our stuff in your production environment, you are required to send us a postcard. This is our address. I'm currently missing 7 million postcards, so please send them. Once you send us a postcard, we publish it on our website. These are our licensee holders. And we have a little top 3 going on there from the countries. France isn't in there, so make it happen. Okay, with that out of the way, I want to talk a little bit about our media library. So the media library is actually a quite powerful package. What is the problem that it tries to solve? Well, in most CMS kind of applications, you have users that want to upload some content. And if you don't use any packages at all, if you want to provide the solution yourself, you have to decide, where am I going to store this all? You have to have functions to retrieve the media. You have to have functions to create thumbnails and such. And that's kind of a boring job to do because it's always the same problem that you're trying to solve. So Laravel Media Library can do that for you. What does it do? Summarized in one sentence, it can associate files with eloquent models. So a model is coupled to media or some media objects, and those media objects, they point to a file in the file system. Those media objects, they can be organized in collections. So you can have like an image collection with all your images, or you have like a download collection with all the downloads in it. Those files in a collection, they can have conversions. So in an image collection, you can have like, give me not the original image, but give me the thumbnail for when you're building a list view. It can also use multiple file systems. So if you have like a large download, then you can store that on S3. And you can easily generate URLs and even temporary URLs to S3 assets that you can use in your views. And it's installed into any Laravel application. I should say in any Laravel 5.5 application, because like the last speaker, I like to use the latest version of the framework. It can do some things more. So I've said that the library can create thumbnails. It can also optimize those thumbnails, because those thumbnails, you want them to be as small as possible. So by default, the media library will strip any metadata out of it and apply just a little bit of compression without losing too much image quality to make that thumbnail very, very small. There's also support for custom image generators. So imagine that you upload a PowerPoint presentation and you want to have a thumbnail out of that. Now, out of the box, the media library doesn't help you with that, but you can easily write an image generator and plug it into the media library, where you get that PowerPoint file and just try to make your image your thumbnail, and then the media library can use that. By default, the media library also has a very specific structure in how it will store the files. It will just use the IDs of the media object. But if you want to have another structure in your media library, you can do so. I'm going to demo that in a little bit. And you can also add custom attributes to your media. If you have some metadata that should be saved along with the asset, media library makes it easy to do so. The media library has quite extensive documentation, because it's quite a flexible package, and you can find it at our documentation site. There's also a video on there, which you can take a look at. It contains more or less the same information that I'm going to give you during this talk. It's a crash course into using the media library. The media library is also getting a little bit popular. This is a screenshot I took like 2 weeks ago, and yeah, we just crossed the 300,000 download mark there. I should also say that media library is already at version 6, so it's really a mature package. So I can babble a lot about it, but it's more fun if I just show it to you so you can have a feel of what it can do. So let's see, where do I have PHP Storm here? Let me make that a little bit bigger for you. And the presentation mode. So, and I'm going to do this Taylor Otwell style, where I have just a route file with a few demos in. Okay, let's see where to start. I'm going to open up my terminal here as well. And I have a little bash function here that I'm going to show to you, visit. And when I type visit, I will just hit, if I do visit1, then I will just hit this route, so we can just stay on this page. I don't have to go to my browser the whole time. So what is the first thing that we are going to do? We are going to do the first example here. We are going to create an article that's just just a model here. Let me jump to it. It's just a model that implements an interface, has media, and that has a trait with all the functions of the media library here in it. And I've also put here a last static function on it so we can easily demo some stuff. So what are we going to do? We are going to create an article and we are going to add some media to it. So this is how we add stuff in the media library. We are going to get this file in my storage path. Let me show you that file. So in storage demo, I have a cake JPEG here. Let me show it to you. So this is a birthday cake that was sent to my home this year, which was kind of crazy. And it's a big JPEG file. Okay, back to my web here. So I'm going to add media to the media collection here. This preserving original, normally you wouldn't use that. But what that does is, normally, if I don't add this, then it will actually move the file. But I'm going to use the same file over and over during the demos. So I want the media library to copy it to the media library. Okay, let's do that first. So visit 1. And if I go to my public folder here and look inside media, then we have here now that cake file in a directory called 1. 1 is the ID of the media being created. Let's go to the database for a sec. Oh, this is going to be small, I think. And I don't know how to make that bigger, but you have to trust me on this, that this is the media table. And now we've seen here that there is one row in it, and we use a polymorphic relation to associate that with the article that we just created. And here you can see the file name, that's the cake, and here you can see we use the media disk to store that on. So let's see how we can work with the media. So let's open up a Tinker session. I can fetch the last created article with that last function that I just saw. So this is the article. And how can you get to the media? Get media. And then you have, let me make it a little bit bigger here. Then you get a collection back with media in it. You can also, because you use first media quite a lot, you can just get the first media item by calling get first media. And you can get that media object back. If you want to have the URL to the associated file, it's just get URL, and then you have the URL part that you can use in your views. Or if you need the entire file path, then you can just do get path and you get the entire file path back. There's also a shortcut for that. Get first get first path. I forgot. Get first. Damn. Nerves. Get first media URL. Yeah, that's it. Get first media URL. So you don't have to get the media by hand. And don't we have path as well? Oh yeah, okay. It was just a typo. Okay, cool. So nothing going really magical going on here. It's just moving a file, generating URLs. Let's go to some more interesting stuff. So what are we going to do here? Here we are going to use the image collections. So here we didn't specify any image collection at all. Here we are going to have a collection images and a collection of downloads. So we are going to add the cake to the image collection and add the multi-million-dollar contract to the downloads collection. Okay, let's visit that route and see what happens. So visit route number 3 here. And you can see that we have new media here, media 2 and media 3 with the cake and the multi-million-dollar contract. Let's open up the Tinker session. So if I get the last created article here, and if I get the media, but I'm going to specify the collection now, get media images. Then I get that cake here back. And if I get the downloads here, then I get that multi-million-dollar contract here. So if I get the URL of this one, of the first one, of the first download, then we have the URL to that multi-million-dollar contract. Cool. Let's make it a little bit more interesting yet. So, how can we create thumbnails and stuff? It's actually quite easy. Let's go to the article again, and instead of implementing has media, you can implement has media conversions. And this is where the magic happens. For if you implement the has media conversions interface, you should implement a register media conversion function. Here, you can say that you want to add a media conversion, and you can name it thumbnail, or thumb, a little bit shorter. And how should a thumbnail look like? Well, it should have a maximum width of 500 and a maximum height of 500. So, okay. Let's go to that route again. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to add some media. So we're going to visit the third route again. So we should have 4 and 5 here, but where are my thumbnails? They are not created here. Well, by default, the media library will perform all image operations on a queue, because it can be quite processor intensive. Now, for those following the Laravel ecosystem, they know we have a wonderful thing going on with Horizon, where you can just view all the things that are in the queue. So, if I go to the recent jobs here, you can see, let me make it a little bit bigger, then we have that perform conversion things just waiting here, that job. Let's start Horizon, so those jobs are being performed. It's on Horizon. So now Horizon is hopefully going to pick up this in a couple of seconds. Yep, conversion done, and this conversion hopefully as well. And now you see that we have those conversions here. And sure enough, if I open this up, it's constrained now by 500 pixels, and it's much smaller. So this is a real thumbnail. How do we get to the thumbnails? Let's open up another Tinker session. So I'm going to get my last article here and get the media images. So we have one image here. So I can do get first media, or I can just grab the first one here off of it. And if I get the URL to it, then I get media for cake. That's the original one. But if I want to have the thumbnail, I can just do the image conversion name here, and I have that thumbnail which I can use in my list view. So it's really easy to do that. With the downloads, it's the same. So let's do it for the first download, and it has a thumbnail as well. So even though it's a PDF, the media library can by default create thumbnails for PDFs. So this is probably a little bit too small. This is the original PDF, multi-million-dollar contract PDF, and the thumbnail, you can see it's a smaller version of that. So you can generate those thumbnails to PDFs real easy. Let's go back to the article model. So I've demonstrated here that you can have a thumbnail and you can constrain the width and the height, but you can actually do a lot more. An article can have, or a model can have multiple media conversions. So if I want to have another media conversion, maybe arty, something like that, and then you can, what are we going to do? We're going to make it, let's blur it a little bit, let's, what do I have from funny effects? Maybe grayscale it a little bit. Yeah, you can add watermarks here if you want. You can sharpen it a little bit. You can pixelate it. Yeah, let's pixelate it also a little bit, so we have something art here going on. And you can also say, you know, I don't want this conversion to be performed on the downloads collection, only on the images collections. So you can, let's see here, perform on collections, and here you can say, oh, I don't need the array actually, that this should only be used on the images collection. Okay, let's try that. So I'm going back to the web file here. We are going to visit the third route again. And Horizon is running, so I should see those conversions here automatically pop up. Here is a thumbnail, but the other one isn't there. How does that come? Ah yeah, okay, I got it. Ooh, out of memory. Okay, I'm going to skip this part for a little bit. I'm going to do something less arty in the next demo. But rest assured that if you do something less arty, you will have multiple conversions here going on. Also, an interesting option that you can do on media collections is if you don't want to queue that conversion, maybe you want to have that thumbnail instantaneously, then you can do it. I should do it here, non-queued. So this one conversion will not be queued; it will be executed immediately. Also, if you don't want to optimize thumbnails, maybe you are working with an art collector which wants to have it really pixel perfect, then you can also do it non-optimized, and then it will be a little bit bigger. So that's how the media conversions look like. Okay, let's go back to the second demo here. This is a cool one. I'm going to visit that second route before I explain what I'm going to do. So to download stuff, you have to normally put in some work as well. You have to create a response and say, hey, this is the file that you should respond with. But with the media library, it's actually much easier. What you can do is, I'm going to put this in a variable for clarity, media item. You can just return a media item to as a response, and then it will just create a response and download the file. So if I go to number 2 here, I will download the file that I just added. Let's go to my thing here, and if I go to number 2, then you saw, we downloaded it. How does that work? Maybe a little bit side trip for people that don't know how this works behind the scenes. In Laravel 5.5, there's this new thing, a new interface that you can implement called responsible. And there you can specify what should be done when this object is being returned as a response. Yeah, we implement that real easily. We create a new response. We respond with a file. Which file? The path associated with this media. And we even give the correct MIME type to the browser, so the browser knows which kind of file that is going to be downloaded. So that's how easy it is to make files downloadable. You just return the media item in a controller or something like that. Let's see. Demo number 5. That's also a nice one. To be sure, I'm going to remove this for a bit, and I'm going to start up Horizon again, and hopefully it won't run out of memory. It runs out of memory. Let me clear that up. Cache clear. And now that problematic job should be gone. Okay, it stays still the same. Okay, back to here. Back to here. I want to demonstrate how easy it is to add files to other file systems. So imagine that you have a big file that you want to store on another file system. Well, with the media library, it's really easy. You just add media as normal, preserving original, to a media collection, and you can just set the name of a disk you configured in file systems.php as the target. So for those who don't know that, in Laravel, we have multiple file systems. This is the default configuration. And you can see here that we have a disk here, S3, and in my environment, I configured it. So let's do that now. Let's visit that, that fifth route. But before I actually visit it, I'll just show you the contents now of what's in my S3 bucket. Refresh. Could not change directory. That's the previous directory. This one. Refresh. There's nothing here. Okay. Let's visit that fifth route. It is a little bit taking a little bit of longer time now because the internet is a little bit slower. So it's copying now to S3, and if the gods of internet are in my favor, it will succeed, and it succeeded here. So if I go to my bucket here again, and if I refresh, then I have my media here, and you can see that I have my thumbnail on here as well. So if I now go to my Tinker session, Tinker, if I get my last article here, and if I get the first media, and if I get the URL out of that, I have to get URL on no, get first media, what I'm doing wrong here, get first media from the images collection. Yeah, then you can see that it really generated an URL to S3 and not a local one. So that's how easy it is to use multiple file systems. Okay, imagine for a bit that you don't want to your public to know how many items are stored in your media library. So by default, we just use the ID of the created media item here. And for most projects, this is pretty okay, I think. But imagine that these are really sensitive documents and you don't want people to guess which files there are. Then you can influence how these directories are called by using a path generator. And for the purposes of this demo, I've already created a class that does that. So here we have the path generator class, and it's a really simple class. So you implement an interface that we provide, the base path generator, and you just say to us, for this media, you should use this path, and also for that folder conversions, for the later ones, where is a conversion? Maybe here. For this folder, you can also specify how that should be called. So in this path generator, we get the media, and we are going to use the ID, and we are going to use the app key for some randomness, and we are just going to MD5 that and use that as the directory name. How can you specify to the media library that this path generator should be used? We have, of course, a configuration file here. Let's scroll to the top a little bit. And here you can see that in our configuration, we can also set our default file system media, which is just a disk in the file systems config. And here you can say your custom path generator class. So here I can just say use my own path generator here. Cool. Let's visit that latest route again. It's going to take yeah, a while. It was faster this time. It should be on its tree here. Yeah, here. And if I refresh now, yeah, you can see that we use the MD5 here now for that folder. And of course, that is being used in, if I should ask the URL of the last one, yeah, you can see here now that it's really unguessable. And if you don't trust MD5, yeah, you can do anything that you want in that path generator to make this bit harder to guess. So, if you want to know more about the media library, learn how to clean up the media library, how to delete stuff, that's somewhere in the documentation at that first URL. I've shown you how you can manipulate images using conversions. Behind the scenes, that uses another package of ours called Image, which has a lot of manipulations available. And the documentation of that package is also on our documentation website. That YouTube link, that's a link where I, to a presentation on YouTube where I tell more or less the same that I've talked to in this talk. And yeah, the source code itself is on GitHub. We have some great plans for version 7 of our media library. We are going to give you more control about image collections. Right now, that image collection is just the name, images, downloads, but we are actually going to allow the ability to specify which sorts of files are going in there. So you can say, in this collection, only JPEGs are allowed in there. We are also going to make it available that you can say, hey, this media collection, it should only contain one item, and when I add another one to it, just delete the other one. That's very useful for things like avatars and something like that. Those features are actually already in the V7 branch of the media library. But what are we going to do next? We are going to add some view components, so you can easily use those view components in your front end to upload stuff to the media library. We're also working on another cool feature to upload directly to S3, just bypassing the server for if you have very large assets that you don't have to upload that to your own server, but that you can do that to S3 itself. And there's another cool feature. We are going to add support for responsive images for source sets for people who know that. If I explain very shortly, an image tag, like you know, it has only one source set, but there's actually another way of doing it with source sets, and then you can hint the browser, hey, these are 3 images, these are the dimensions of that, and depending on the strength of the network and the dimension of the screen, your browser will just download the right file. And we are going to build that into support for that into Media Library as well. So that version is probably coming somewhere early next year. So this is everything that I wanted to say to you. My apologies for messing up that lead demo. I'm going to probably sit in my bed tonight from, oh my God. So also take a look at our company website, the open source page. There's probably something there that could be of use to you. And yeah, check out my blog and my newsletter if you want to stay current in what's happening in PHP and Laravel. So, thank you all. Are there any questions? Yeah, in the back.
Yeah, so I'm using this package
Cool.
like for several projects.
I hope you like it.
One question, can you bind the media to users and policies with acres? So if you have like a company and different users bind to a company, is it possible to, with rules, to like allow some kind of media on that some users and disallow on other users?
So that some users may upload stuff and other users may not have associated media. Is that that's something that you should do, I think, in your application logic itself. The media library doesn't do anything regarding security. That's
Yeah,
up
it's
to your
just assets
application.
management. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah. Another question there in the middle.
Hello.
Hello.
Cool presentation. Thank
Thanks.
you. I wanted to know what happens if we don't queue the image. If we don't want to queue this image,
If you don't want to queue the image,
is there any kind of priority?
there isn't a priority, but you can say that you don't want to queue it. You can do it here with just non-queued, that you just
Yes.
tag on, and then it won't queue at all. Then the conversion
Okay.
will happen inside the web request.
Okay, but let's imagine I have a bunch of 100 images uploading, and I want to be able to have a preview on some modification I do on my image. Can we? Oh.
Yeah, you can mix and match a little bit. You can have a conversion that's not on a queue and another one that is on a queue. Then only
Yes.
the non-queued ones will happen inside the web request, and the rest is on the queue.
Okay. Thank you. You understood me.
Okay, cool.
You have a question?
Yeah.
I don't know if the question is stupid or not, but
No.
your library works with videos or not?
Yeah, it works with videos. Actually, there's built-in support for that. If I go to the media library configuration here again, out of the box, it can, I think, create thumbnails for MPEGs and MP4s, and you can specify which binary should used for that conversion here. So,
Great.
yeah. Also, for now that I'm here in the configuration, we optimize those thumbnails with a few command line tools, JPEG opt-in, PNG quant. So those are the big ones, and these are the parameters we give to that binaries, and here you can customize that as well. So unrelated to your question, but just wanted to show you.
Great,
that as
thanks.
well. Cool. More questions? Okay.
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. Very nice one.
My pleasure.
And I won't blame you for for the demo with the delete because I already saw it working, so I confirm it works. So my question is, if in our model we are using soft delete, do we have to take care of the logic behind the soft deletes? I mean,
There is support for soft deletes in there. It was contributed by the community. There, if you want to see the behavior, how that behaves with soft deletes, there are tests in there that perfectly show you what will be done when you do something with a soft delete and when you restore something like that. Yeah, but I can, it's a little bit, spoiling the party a little bit. I think I'm going to remove for soft deletes in the next version because I don't use it myself, soft deletes.
Okay.
Sorry, but maybe somebody will add it back.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hi, thanks
Hi.
for the presentation. You said that you like to work with always the latest version of Laravel or PHP.
Yeah.
What percentage of your time goes into maintaining all your packages to the last version?
There goes quite a bit of time in maintaining all the stuff that we do. And yeah, just using the latest versions of PHP and Laravel actually helps me to save time to manage it all. I think I work on all the stuff almost daily. There's some company time invested in there as well in doing the maintenance. Myself and each one of our company is allowed to work on open source stuff for 1 day a week. So and that's how we get things done for the open source thing. And personally, I do this in my free time as well because I just enjoy doing it and I learn a lot with it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we're done. Thank you, everybody.